Good afternoon, race fans, and welcome to the show. I am Brett the Jet in the booth with Turn 3 Racing Network, and tonight is an exciting night because we kick off 2025 Summer Series of the American Sim Racing Club Street Stock Series here from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Tonight, it's going to be an action-packed race because race is only going to be 50 laps long. But with that 50 laps, we're going to have some action-packed, kind of old-school drafting racing here in the street stock. So if there's going to be a wreck, it's probably going to be a big one here tonight. So I think it's going to be very, very important, especially here in qualifying. Try and start up front and keep yourself up front. So practice wrapping on up here. Looks like Andrew Payne going to be the quick time here with Dev McDonald second, and then Scott Rochford in the third position. So we get ready for qualifying here, waiting for our cars to head on to the racetrack. Of course, qualifying just like before here, folks. Going to be 2-lap qualifying here tonight, and then we're going to take the best of those 2 laps to determine the starting order here tonight. But since it's a good old short track series, there's always got to be a little bit of twist to it, and that twist coming with a 12-car invert. So whoever qualifies with the quick time here tonight will start 12th. Whoever is the 12th quickest gonna start on the pole here. I believe we have 19 cars here ready to do battle. So first car out to the track is the number 6 car of Mark Fuquay. Mark, of course, ran most of the races last season, and this season looking for another good run. So Mark on the clock here, first lap running the high side. So looks like Mark gonna put all his eggs into one basket. That basket being a solid lap number 2 from the 6 machine. Right now, a busy track here. It looks like all but 2 cars out on track. Now all but 1 car here. So Mark able to put the first lap in of anyone. But since he ran the top, we'll probably see him drop all the way to the bottom of the timing and scoring here, as we'll get a ton of times flooding into the timing and scoring here. Right now, Riley Duncan with the quick time here. Jason Racing Griffith second quick, and then it's JJ McRae in third. Here we go, the 6 car final lap here in qualifying through 3 and 4 for the final time and to the stripe. Will this strategy work out for the 6? We'll find out right now as he hits the stripe. Mark able to jump second quick with a 36.89. Andrew Payne able to jump all the way to the top with an 8.4 here. Regan Ford, a solid lap in the 20 machine. He will jump to third quick as Jeff Dillon now gets knocked down by Dave Payton, who then gets knocked down by Hayden Swank. So very, very close times here. You can see from first through 13th, all separated by a 10th or less of a second here. So it is very, very tight times to get in the invert here tonight as Pete Dillon lap number 1 for the 7 machine, 37.31. Probably, if I had to guess, he ran the top side there around his whole entire lap here. So we'll see what Dillon can do. Dillon visited victory lane one time last season here, but that will do it here in qualifying as only a 3-minute qualifying session here. So Dillon doesn't get a chance to walk away with a second lap here, but big congrats to the 93, the Payne train. Andrew Payne walking away with another pole award here in ASRC. So big congrats to the 93 and that whole team here tonight as we get a little warm-up session, get things ready to rock and roll here. And after tonight, Andrew Payne should have about 33 pole positions in his career. Leads the way here in ASRC with the most poles ever. So very impressive stuff from the 93 machine here. As we take a look at a little bit of race information here coming into tonight at Charlotte. Of course, track length, 1.5 miles. The biggest track we'll see on the schedule with the Street Stock Series. And of course, looking like a nice cool afternoon, 78 degrees, 45% humidity, partly cloudy here. And of course, got to thank LaPlante Racing Products, Boardwalk Subs, and Postma Flooring, as well as being partners here with the American Sim Racing Club. Also, if you would like to find out more or be a part of the action here, check us out. I should say check the American Sim Racing Club out on Facebook with facebook.com/American Sim Racing Club. That will keep you up to date on all the action here and what's going on, and can send you in the right direction if you're looking for some of the best short track racing leagues with little to no drama. Be sure to check out American Sim Racing Club because, like tonight, we're seeing here street stocks out on track, and then as well as Tuesday nights, these guys do battle in the late model stocks. As warm-up set to end here, drivers getting the last little bit of feel that they need for the race here tonight. And I tell you what, it's not going to be your normal short track race where you'll have really action-packed, really trying to roll the center tonight. It's going to be all about the draft, keeping that momentum in these street stocks here for 50 laps is the distance of the feature here. So it looks like we get some cars here heading to the grid here tonight. It actually looks like these guys gridding here on the start finish line and not the front stretch here. So interesting there. Not sure if iRacing updated that, but here we go for tonight's starting order of race number 1 of 12 of the American Sim Racing Club Street Stock Series. Riley Duncan in the 97 machine will lead the field to green. Hit the invert on the head, will lead the field to the green flag. To his outside here, it is the 66. That is Stephen Rochfort. Rochfort, one of the LaPlante Racing Product Triple Crown Series winners. One of the illustrious names of about 3 or 4 in there, so keep an eye on that 66. He is always pretty quick. Devin McDonald in the 18 machine will roll off third. To his outside will be the 78 of JJ McCrae rolling off fourth. Starting in the 5th position will be the 41. That is Caleb Ramsey. Starting in 6th will be the 48. That is Tim Rogers. Rolling off 7th is Regan Ford in the 20. And then Mark Fuquay in the 6th will roll off 8th. 9th going to the 52. That is Jeff Dillon. And then rounding out the top 10 is the 38 of Dave Payne. Rolling off P number 11 will be the 35. That is Hayden Swank. And then the quick time here tonight, starting in 12th, is the 93 of Andrew Payne. 13th going to the 013. That is Ty Delphia. 14th going to Jason Griffith in the 98. 15th is Zach Coyer in the 13 machine. 16th going to Scott Roachford in the 077. Greggy Long in the 17 will roll off P17. Chuck Darling in the 88 will roll off 18th. Pete Dillon in the 7 will roll off 19th. And then starting shotgun on the field here tonight, making his first ever start, is Nick DeBoer in the 900 machine. So that will do it here for the starting lineup as we get ready to rock and roll. The iRacing Pace truck here heads down pit road, and it's going to be Duncan Roachford on the front row. Riley Duncan has the control here into the restart zone. They fire on off, and we get ready for green flag racing for 50 laps here tonight at Charlotte. It's going to be 2x2 for a while here. Both those guys probably going to just try and hold their lanes behind him, that being the 97 and the 66. But right now, Duncan away by himself can choose either lane. Looks like we'll go up to the top side here, give a little bit of a draft to the 66, and then here in the corner, drives it all the way down to that inside lane here. Besides Duncan leading the way here, it's going to be 2x2 throughout the entire field further on back here, folks. These guys probably, at least at the moment, just content with riding around, just clicking off laps, seeing how their cars feel here in the draft, getting a sense of things, seeing about the runs, what's good, what's bad, and try and go from there. As, oh, we get contact. Riley Duncan almost gets turned there by Deb McDonald. Somehow they save it. Now Regan Ford there sawing at the wheel. Wow. That will definitely mix up the field a little bit, probably string people out, but how did we not get a caution there, folks, as we had multiple cars super sideways on the racetrack here, and everyone hangs on to their race cars. With that little bit of a hiccup from the inside lane here, the top three cars from the top lane able to get out in front here. Steven Roachford able to take control of the lead here, but here's JJ McCrae with a run on the top side. Right behind them is the 48 machine of Tim Rogers as well. So 3 laps already in the books here, starting lap number 4, and field definitely more strung out here as everyone maybe taking it a little bit more easy, saw how quickly things could happen here, and says, you know what, let's try and notch things on back a little bit. I say let's ride on board here with, this is the 97 of Riley Duncan, led the field to the green flag. But here we go, here's what it's like up on the top side here, second car in the top row here. And you can hear there, folks, just breathing the throttle just a little bit on corner entry. Besides that, it is pedal to the floor, pedal to the wood around the Charlotte Motor Speedway. As we see Duncan get right to the back bumper there of McCrae. Trying to get some momentum rolling, but Duncan a little bit higher up than McCrae through the corner. We'll have to see how that works on out here for these drivers. But so far, the field's strung on out for a minute, then everyone starts to catch those front cars. Those cars having to break the draft here, so going to be a little bit slower than everyone else in the draft here, as we see everyone starting to compress the accordion once again. And like we saw there on the opening lap, things happen very quickly. It could just be a push gone a little wrong, just a little bit off center, and things can go bad very, very quickly here with the speeds these cars have. I mean, speeds here tonight, we approach almost 150 miles an hour into turn number one. I'd have to believe down the backstretch we do pass 150 miles an hour here tonight. Yeah, further in the back, I'm seeing some numbers up in the 150 range here with the draft. So speed's very, very high, especially in a street stock car out here. But so far, everyone in the draft besides the 077 machine of Scott Rochford, he has lost the draft, and it looks like the 900 machine retired and called it a night here early. So still 19 of the 20 cars that took the green flag still out on track, and so far has been all green flag racing here for the first 8 laps. As of course the best running Monte Carlo body leading the way, that is Scott Rochford in the 66, as well as JJ McRae, another Monte body leading the outside lane. Then the highest running Camaro body is the 48 machine of Tim Rogers, second car on the inside row. Then the third car on the inside row is the best Thunderbird running body, that is Regan Ford out here in the 20 machine. And here with the American Sim Racing Club, each and every session that is put up by these guys, there is no fast repair. So these drivers have to treat these cars like it's a real life car. You know, can't afford to get them too damaged or wreck on out, because if you do, you have no chance to get them back out in the race. Also with the Street Stock Series, no sets of tires here. So tonight we won't see too much of a tire issue here. If anything, you might lose the right front turning ability a little bit, start to wear that on out with the speeds here, but there is no opportunity to put new tires on the car. So if you spin it on out, slide it for a while, you're just gonna have to drive that car a little bit differently and just have to deal with the consequences. I say let's jump on board with another driver. I believe having a helmet cam here with Greggy Long in the 17 machine, just looking up front, looking at the pack that is 2x2 all in front of him here as we ride on board with the 17 machine of Long. And you can see here, folks, cars all over the speedway, everyone bobbling and weaving, even Long here towards the back here, having to work that wheel, had to catch it going into turn number one, as we see a little bit of 3 wide racing action further up front. Hayden Swank kind of in the middle here as he looks to the inside of Dev McDonald. So it's going to be a little bit of 3 wide racing further up front. Let's jump up there and see what's going on. Hayden Swank trying to make his way back up to the front here. Looks like that was slot out Dev McDonald in that gray 18 machine. As once again, still stuck on the top side. Now it's the 41 machine of Caleb Ramsey in the middle, the meat in the middle of the sandwich. Yeah, out in front, it has been, each lane has been pretty dominated by these two drivers, the 78 and the 66 here. But like I said to start the race, I think most of these guys are just trying to click off the laps here. And like any good super speedway racing, we'll see moves start to ramp on up, especially with 10 to go towards the back, and then for sure 5 to go. It's time to make a move if you get one. So 15 laps in the books of the 50 here tonight. Looks like here towards the back, Chuck Darling last car in the pack here, just riding on around, trying to see what lane is going where. Looks like the biggest movers, though, of the night so far going to be Hayden Swank in that 35 machine. He is up 5 spots from where he started, but as of course with pack racing, going to be very difficult to move on up without any sort of mistakes. But Hayden made it 3 wide there. That helped him get quite a few spots, and I think that'll definitely be a move if he wants to keep on moving up towards the front here. I say here on lap 17, we'll take a break from each chat, and we'll let the cars do the talking for a little bit in some of everyone's favorite little turn 3, turn it up. So I'll be right back and take a quick little break. Alrighty, folks, we come back here to start lap number 20, and so far not much has changed throughout the field. Everyone's still in their same spots just about. Ty Delphia able to get up to the high side here. Hayden Swank down to the low side in row number 3. Besides that, that's kind of the biggest move here. JJ McCray, though, inches out in front of Roachford down the straightaways, but then Roachford has the shorter distance through the corners, able to get the advantage there, and they just continue to trade that lead back and forth here throughout each straightaway and each corner. As we start getting very, very close to the halfway point, let's ride on board with the guy leading the outside lane here, looking back at the rest of the cars, and you can see just how close everyone is running here. Things starting to tighten on up here as Ford slides up there a little bit there. As Riley Duncan goes around, and there it is, the first big one of the night here, as quite a few cars collected here right behind JJ McCray here. Yeah, a lot of cars caught up in that one here. Zach Coyer, no front nose on that car. Same with Ty Delphia in the other 13 machine. So quite a few wounded race cars here to bring out our first Boardwalk Subs caution of the night. So we're going to try and take a look here on the turn 3 race and replay. See what happened. See where this kind of started here. And what kicked off our first caution and the first big one of the night. So you can already see here, folks, Riley Duncan already kind of out of sorts here. As man, we got to go back even further. Let's see if I can catch a time that shows the beginning here of this. So here we go, looking at the 97 machine of Riley Duncan. It looks like maybe Caleb Ramsey in the 41 machine just maybe mistimed a hit there, or if he didn't think Riley was going to go that high, maybe he tried to shoot it 3 wide, but the nose of the 41 machine taps the left rear quarter panel of the 97, sends him around into the inside lane here, and then it's all about, can you drive through the smoke and trying to miss it here, as we see the 13 machine Adelphia come back down here, and then all sorts of cars sliding around on the track here, as I think that's Jason Griffith sliding all the way to the inside pit wall here. So we'll take a look at this one more time here, looking at it full speed just to see the amount of cars. Luckily, no one seems like they hit too hard, let's say, but quite a few cars with some pretty significant damage here. So down on pit road here, Deb McDonald down there, Mark Fuquay, Jeff Dillon, Andrew Payne, Ty Delphia, Jason Griffith, Zach Coyer, all down on pit road here. Glad to see you out here, Jamie, in the YouTube chat lands. Glad you could jump on here and enjoy some virtual racing here tonight. As here we go, folks, lights out on the pace truck and around the Charlotte Motor Speedway. So we're going to go back to green flag first restart. We'll be right at the cross flags here tonight. So yeah, that was only the first half of the race. Of course, these races go by pretty quickly as well, so drivers going to have to keep that in mind here, because now it's only going to be a 25 lap sprint to the finish of this one. You can see a little bit of nose damage to the purple 35 machine of Hayden Swank down low. You're going to have to wonder how much will that affect the car. Andrew Payne, some nose damage as well. The 013 couldn't get the nose cone back on his car. So definitely going to be very interesting to see the speed differences here. Who can stay with the pack and who might be just trying to hope for maybe another caution here before the end of this one. Front row, though, it's going to be Rochefort and McRae here for the first restart of the night. iRacing pace car here will head down pit road. And now Steven Rochefort in the black 66 on the loud pedal here. And we go back to green flag racing here for race number 1 at Charlotte. Rochefort away with a big lead over the rest of the field here. We'll have to see how that works out for him, because these guys behind him are going to get a pretty big run here. So the question is, where will the 48 of Tim Rogers go? Looks like the first car to move out of line, though, is going to be McRae in the 78 machine. So that'll force Rogers to stick to the tail bumper of the 66 machine here. Everyone else trying to ride on around, try and figure out what lane they want to be here. As it looks like Caleb Ramsey a little loose through the tri-oval here. But already Riley Duncan here, not afraid of that top lane. He gets back up to that in the 97 machine. Might be bringing along the 38 of Dave Payton as well. One car down low on the apron. Looks like the 13 machine, 013 machine of Ty Delphia. Definitely probably doesn't have the pace without the nose here, so he will make it down onto pit road maybe, as it looks like he will call it a night here. Tough break for him. It looks like from that lap 1 incident here, it's going to take out Delphia, Fuquay, and Coyer all out of this race here early. Out at front, though, Steven Rochford in the 66 machine leading the way here. JJ McCrae by himself on the outside lane, trying to keep some momentum rocking and rolling here and doing a pretty good job at it. Regan Ford in the 20 machine here, third car in the inside row. Riley Duncan here closing on up to the back bumper of the 78, so McCrae should get some help here pretty quickly. Dave Payton, third car in line, up on the top row, and then it's like, man, who else willing to go up to that second lane here? It looks like at the moment behind Payton and Caleb Ramsey in this 41 machine, everyone happily riding on around here for a moment, at least single filed here, but as now we see the 17 of Greggy Long jump into the outside lane as well. So outside lane starting to get a good amount of cars up there, so definitely gonna have some speed now. Now, where will people go? What will be the move here? As it's going to be gridlock for at least 4 rows deep now as we get cars nose to tail here. At least 10 cars deep in both lanes here as people picking and choosing their lanes. And next time by, folks, it's going to be 20 laps left here at Charlotte. We got a car here shooting the middle. That is the 20 machine of Regan Ford. Ford gonna get bounced around a little bit and contact with the 41 machine of Ramsey. Somehow Ford will save that race car. Second big save that Ford has had this race here. And the second time we've seen Caleb Ramsey get into the side of another race car here. Luckily that one does not draw a caution flag here. Yeah, McCrae doing a great job of keeping right on the right sides of our race leader here on the inside lane through the corners, then drives off the door number just a little bit on corner exit. Try and keep that momentum, have the car wash out wide here and keep that speed as much as possible. 19 to go here tonight at Charlotte, and kind of almost a little bit of a I want to say 9-car breakaway here as Andrew Payne in the 10th position, leading kind of a group of wounded race cars here, starting to lose touch with the main pack here. So those guys will have to turn up the wick if they want to try and join that front pack here, but so far losing a little bit of time last time by. Was able to keep, at least with the pack, once again able to keep lap time with the pack here. So Payne not out of it just yet, but has to be careful here because he's on right on the cusp of the draft here. Few guys that did lose the draft here so far: the 52 machine of Jeff Dillon, as well as the 98 of Jason Griffith. Both those cars sitting 14th and 15th. Another car here that is very wounded, the 18 machine of Devin McDonald. We saw him make contact with multiple cars and the outside wall here. So those 3 cars out of the draft here, as Payne has brought those last 4 cars here into the draft once again. Out in front, like we've seen, the first 4 rows all in gridlock at the moment here. And like I said, I don't think we'll see too many moves being made until about that 10 to go. If you're about 7th on back, Hayden Swank, Greggy Long, Andrew Payne, all of those cars, probably have to start making moves with about 10 to go. But anyone up front, we'll probably see a move being made with 5 or less to go. This time at the stripe, though, we see 15 laps to go here. Once again, it's been the Rochefort and McRae show out in front. Both those cars still leading both of their respective lanes here, doing a great job at keeping those cars behind them here. But how long can they do that? And once cars start to take any sort of run here, how will they hold them on off? Trying to look through the stats here, folks. Trying to find out how many races Steven Rochefort has won here with the American Sim Racing Club. Might try looking through this way here. Looks like Rochefort has one win to his name here in his all-time ASRC stats. This would be win number 2 and a great way to start off the season, as well as to his outside JJ McRae looking for his first ever ASRC win. And what a time it would do it right out of the start of a season. A great points night it would be, and I'm sure a boatload of confidence for either of those drivers. As well as, you know, very hungry drivers right behind them as well. Tim Rogers. It has been a few years since Rogers has visited Victory Lane here in ASRC. He would love to get the job done. Same with Riley Duncan. He was also close quite a few times before, but was never able to get it done there at the end. So a lot of drivers here racing for a lot, and probably most importantly, trying to get a good finish because they know this place is hectic. Like we saw with the big one, anything could happen here. As we see Hayden Swank here looking to the inside of Caleb Ramsey. Ramsey able to keep the momentum rolling through the tri-oval, able to keep that third car on the inside row spot. Oh man, Ramsey gets a big push there. He saw the nose of that black 41 machine pop on out there. Had to save that race car, working the wheel down the backstretch. And here we go, folks. 2 open palms from the flag man here. It is 10 laps to go, and you can see cars starting to get a little bit more crazy. Cars starting to get more sideways. Runs starting to get a little bit bigger, and the pushes starting to get more aggressive here. Tim Rogers glued right to the back bumper of the 66 machine down low. McRae, though, gets a great run down the backstretch. Was about a half a car length clear of the 66. Oh, McRae gets pushed in the middle of the corner. He had to save the race car. Wow, what a save by the 78 machine. He got a big bump right in the middle of 3 and 4. Had to really unwind the wheel, re-catch it, and then save it. They will lose a little bit of time, but man, that could have been a whole lot worse here, folks. Now the question, if you're Tim Rogers, do you jump up to that outside lane, or do you stay right on the back bumper of the 66 and push him till about 1 lap to go and see if you can dive it down low? Looks like at the moment Rogers will stay glued to that inside blue line here at the Charlotte Raceway. Cars starting to get more aggressive here through the tri-oval, starting to clip the grass more and more here. And I think iRacing even does it on oval tracks. Don't quote me 100% if it's not true, but iRacing last couple updates started to integrate more and more debris onto the track, specifically off tracks from dirt and that sort of stuff coming onto the racetrack and affecting the handling of race cars. So if we start to see that, we can see this inside lane start to get more and more wild. If there is dirt that starts to show up on the racetrack, especially through this second kink in the tri-oval there. as we see Caleb Ramsey big time on the grass that time. Man, oh man, it's starting to get wild here. Dave Payne thinking about jumping up to road number 3 up on the top lane here. Payne gonna try and see what's up there for momentum. Not quite anything there doing through the corner, but like I said here, folks, if you're not anywhere in the first 3 cars, it's definitely time to start thinking about some moves, seeing if there's anywhere you can place a race car. You gotta start doing it now here, folks. McRae has been able to fight back up to that front row now. Hasn't been able to draw fully even with Rochefort, but maybe this time through the tribal he can. But here we go. It's 5 laps to go here, folks. 45 laps have been completed. 5 left to go, and it's about to get fun here, folks. Dave Payne here stuck to the 3rd lane up top, doesn't get any help, doesn't get any friends, so he will get trapped to the top side of 3 wide. Andrew Payne in the middle, and here comes Scott Rochefort in the 77 machine. Was outside of the draft up until that first caution, now right in the thick of things with 4 laps to go. Hayden Swank has jumped from the inside lane to the outside lane there in row number 3. You can see the run starting to get bigger and more aggressive. People starting to lock onto bumpers a lot longer, whether through the straightaway or starting to get right on the bumper into the corners here, folks. This time by, we will see 3 laps to go now here, folks, and the field very, very tight throughout the whole entire field. About 6 rows deep, 12 cars all under a blanket with 3 laps to go. I believe if we need it here, folks, 1 attempt at a green-white checkered, but here on iRacing, once we get the white flag, they are racing back to the line here as Pete Dillon up into the wall here. He will lose the draft there. He is that black car in the back of the pack, but this time by, popsicle sticks up in the air. It is 2 laps to go. And it seems like at the moment it is either, as Tim Rogers gets turned. Tim Rogers from 3rd position gets turned on around here. We somehow stay green flag racing here for the moment, as there is the caution, and that will put us under a green-white checkered attempt here. Man, oh man, a heartbreak for Rogers here, as he probably had himself a top 10, well, for sure top 5 finish going for him. For sure top 10 finish, but looks like when he cycles back on out, he'll have some nose damage and be back in about 15th position. Let's take a look here, see what happened to Rogers here in turns 1 and 2. Rogers' 2nd car on the inside lane here, pushing the 66, and looks like washes up just a little bit, and then the 41 machine into the back bumper and left rear quarter panel of the 48. So 2nd time we've seen the 41 in the back of someone in the corner, and that car going right on around. So it looks like Rogers here will catch the back of the field. We'll probably dive down onto pit road, get some of that damage repaired here, and see what kind of night he can salvage. As it looks like other cars down on pit road, the 20 machine of Regan Ford as well as Jason Griffith, both of those cars down on pit road as well. So up towards the front, top 5 on the restart will look like the following here. It's going to be Steven Rochford, JJ McCray, Riley Duncan, Hayden Swank, and then Caleb Ramsey rounding out the top 5 here. And like I said before, a lot of driver towards the front here looking for their first ever win, that being JJ McCray, Riley Duncan, Caleb Ramsey, all looking for their first wins. Steven Rochford looking for win number 2 of his career. Hayden Swank looking for first win this season, but keeping a streak. He won, I believe, 2 races last season, so if he can win tonight, that keeps another consecutive season of at least a win here. And then, of course, Andrew Payne. He has made his way back up towards the front. He will restart 6th, and if Payne can visit victory lane, that will be 24th on the career all-times wins list. And I should say 24th win and 2nd all-time on the careers wins list here at ASRC. So lights will go out on the iRace and Pace truck as well as around Charlotte Motor Speedway. And here we go. Caution late in the race. And I believe this will be the one attempt at a green-white checkered. Like I said here before, folks, if we get a caution before we see the white flag, the race is over. These guys will pace around to the checkered flag. If these drivers see that white flag, no matter what happens, what kind of incident we see, they are racing back to the stripe and to the checkered flag. Fans definitely up on their feet here for our one attempt at a green-white checkered. Let's take a look here from the stands here at Charlotte for this restart. Once again, it's going to be a Rochford McCray front row restart. And it looks like Steven Rochford once again going to choose the inside lane. He's going to have control of the restart here, folks. As here we go. We're going to actually change the camera angle here, but here we go. iRace and Pace truck here heads down on pit road. Steven Rochford away here early. That will give him a big jump over the field as they are very spread out behind him. He's just going to have to block the run when it comes because right now he sits all alone out in front. Riley Duncan going to be the first car to strike. Then right there, Hayden Swank, JJ McCray, first car up on the top lane. Andrew Payne in there as well. It's going to be a good one here, folks. Riley Duncan gets loose. He has to chase that race car all the way to the top. He'll go to the top side of 3 wide here. Duncan had a run, got loose, couldn't make it work. Here comes Hayden Swank, though. He will jump in front of McCray. White flag is out. One more lap to go. Oh, man, Riley Duncan in the wall. Dave Payton goes on around. A heartbreak for Payne here because we will stay green. We are racing back to the stripe, but Payton probably should have finished inside the top 10. He will not now. Drag race down the backstretch. It's now going to be Rochford versus Swank. Who will have the better run? Who will have more momentum coming off of turn number 4? Here we go, folks, to the stripe. Rochford gets loose. Andrew Payne looks to the inside. They make contact. Payne through the grass. They contact some more at the stripe. It is going to be Steven Rochford ending up spinning through the grass and big calamity going into turn number 1. Big time hits through the field, but what a photo finish here at the stripe between Rochford, Swank, and Payne. Let's take a look at it one more time here, slowed on down, looking right at the finish here tonight. So you can see here coming off of turn number 4, Payne gets into the back, just a little bit of Rochford trying to move him on up just a little bit, try and see if there's a lane. So you can see then the bobble from Rochford having to try and save that race car. With that, Payne sees a little bit of daylight down low, who does try to shoot down there. They make contact, and that gets the 93 sideways enough that he ends up shooting him kind of straight through the grass here. Luckily, that stuff is paved these days, but when he then comes back up to the track kind of at a tough angle, they all make big time contact. And that is how close the finish was for our top three here tonight. And then you can see just the calamity behind them going into turn number one. But we'll take a look here at the front stretch, as I believe Stephen Rochford already done with his burnouts here. So we'll be right back on the other side here to chat with our podium finishers, that being Rochford, Swank, and Payne. So don't go anywhere, folks. A quick commercial break, then we'll be back with our post-race show.
iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics, engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 170,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams. Race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12 Hour. Additional partners include IMSA, World of Outlaws, Supercars, and IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own Indianapolis 500, Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iRacing.com.
Alrighty, folks, we come back here live, and the first driver we'll be talking to is our third place finisher, that being the 93 machine of Andrew Payne. Andrew, you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet in the booth here.
I got a copy.
Alrighty, man. A tough race here tonight. One, because of the draft, and two, it seemed like it was very tough to make up spots. How'd you go all the way from 12th to 3rd?
Well, I mean, it was early on. It was about saving. A big part of this series is not having a set of tires in the pits, and it's 50 laps around Charlotte. Doesn't seem like a lot, but it's a lot on these tires, and just saving early, saving, not making any aggressive moves. We fell back semi far, pretty early there, and then unfortunately we're actually caught up in a wreck, and I thought I had it cleared, and then we hooked back up the track and accidentally took out a couple of our competitors. And I obviously didn't want to do that. And then it was from there. It was just we had damage, and we got a sort of a lucky caution with 2 to go, I believe it was, and got put up on the outside, and a couple of us were chatting all night about restarts and what gear to restart in, and I ended up restarting in a good gear and got to the bottom, and then just hung out from there. And I'm glad we made it to the white flag, because I thought for sure we weren't going to make it. And then obviously the white flag lap was a little chaotic from my end, and we can go into that in a little more detail later. But yeah, it's just it's hard. It's sort of like racing a next gen car on a super speedway. It's a lot of making good moves in good spots and timing moves when you're not going to lose momentum. And especially with the damage, I was afraid of losing the draft. Starting in the back tonight, had to sort of tear up the tires a little bit more than I wanted to in the second stint, because just to keep pace with everyone, and we weren't too badly damaged, but yeah, just I mean, staying in the draft was huge all night. If you lost the draft at all, I know we got a couple cautions, but it was not a good thing, and sort of. I know it didn't seem like it, but sort of running these cars as well, like you would a traditional stock car around Charlotte helps too, because you're not cranking on the right front too much, trying to keep it on the bottom, and you're not trying to blow the right rear off either too much. So a little bit of arc helped big time too.
Yeah, I bet that did as well. And yeah, Andrew, we got to talk about that last lap because that seemed super crazy, especially from your vantage point. At the white flag lap, we see Hayden Swink jump up to the high side after Riley Duncan kind of gets loose, has to chase that car all the way to the outside wall. And then you only see one car left in front of you, Stephen Roach, for what's the plan and what are we trying to do after that?
Well, basically, except for going through the grass, we pretty much hit my plan to a T. Goal was to push Steven basically through all the way through 3 and 4. Um, push him enough to maybe get him up the track a little bit like I did. I didn't want to wreck him. I don't want to wreck anyone for a win. Just the slightest of bumps, and I feel like I did that pretty good. And then, I felt like I got crowded a little bit, but I mean, Steven did what he was supposed to there. And I'll be honest, I didn't plan on driving through the grass. I got loose down there, and I totally thought Steven was a lot closer to my door because of how we made contact. And for the last little bit that I saw his car when we did make contact, I thought he was getting a little more free down the track. So I was just trying to hold my line and not really, come back up like I did. And I, I don't know. And then we came across the line and ended up finishing third. So basically, up until the contact, we actually, executed the plan picture perfect on my end. And but yeah, that finish, I don't want to, I didn't want to wreck anyone. Unfortunately, there was still contact. Thankfully, it was at the line, so it didn't really affect any positions in the grand scheme of things. But didn't really want to try to attempt to pass in the grass either, because I don't know how that's going to be looked upon, um, from my fellow competitors. So we'll take a third. A way better start to the season this year than last season. So we'll take it as we go and see how the rest of the season goes.
Yeah, for sure. Starting it off with a bang, of course, chatting with me after the race. And yeah, Andrew, coming off of turn number 4, you were in third and able to hang on to third with the pass through the grass. And I tell you what, I appreciate the move because you definitely made it exciting for everyone, including myself watching.
Yeah, well, I'm glad I was able to make a move to be there in the first place. I thought once we got damaged, our night was done. So the fact that I had a shot at the win was huge. Just in general, it's hard to come by these wins. I know I didn't win at all last season in these cars, so I'd like to pick up at least one. Say I finally got one in the street stocks, and starting out off the year pretty strong with the quick time and a third place, and can't really hang my head too much over that.
No, you cannot because, yeah, like you just mentioned there, Andrew, too, able to find the quick time here in qualifying. I mean, what was the key? Just the years of super speedway racing coming on through in the street stocks at Charlotte?
Yeah, pretty much took out the good old rookie street stock strategy here with running the high line through the entirety of your opening lap and your first lap, and just letting these things wind up and get a couple extra mile an hour, and then still driving it like you would a cup car, an Xfinity car here. Let it run wide so you're not bogging the car down too much with the steering, and then bring it down as low as you can in the corners, and utilize the utilize the paint a little bit here. I probably missed the paint, but paint helps a little bit, and then just being smooth, and we'll take it. I know I don't think I got a pole last season either, so guess we're starting off on the right track here with a really quick car, and we'll see how the our first official short track goes next week at I believe Five Flags. So if tonight was any indication, I feel like we should be pretty strong there, and especially with how we ended last season at Wilkesboro with the second place finish and some pretty good tires at the end there. So we'll uh, we'll move on. We'll build from this and maybe mount a championship run here this season.
Yeah, definitely one of the favorites coming into this season, Andrew. You are. So, once again, congrats on the third place here tonight. Before we let you go, I'm going to go hand over the mic to you and have you thank who you got to thank, whether those all important teammates, maybe some sponsors on the car, or anyone that helps you do it, as well as maybe some people tuning on into the broadcast.
Well, first and foremost, huge thanks to you, Brett, and the Turn Three Racing Network. You guys have been partnered with us for a long time. Looking forward to going back and watching this broadcast, especially with with how the finish went. Huge shout out to Tanner for putting on the league and the series. It's been a ton of fun these last 4 years, and it just keeps getting better at this point. Huge shout out to all my fellow competitors. Huge shout out to Steven as well for winning. Congrats to him, and congrats to Hayden on the second place run tonight. Huge shout out to all my partners, QuickTime Motorsports Media, Hum Metal Fab, Citrus Hat Sawn Mower, Postma Flooring. Huge shout out to my parents, grandparents for supporting me in all my forms of racing. Huge shout out to, like I said, the fellow competitors for putting on some good shows. And last but certainly not least, huge shout out to all the fans that come out and support the broadcast, the drivers, the league, all of us. We really appreciate it, and looking forward to Five Flags next week.
Yeah, we are looking forward to that as well, Andrew. See how you and everyone else runs. So, Andrew, once again, congrats on the third. Go celebrate it, my man, and have yourself a great rest of the night.
Thank you.
Alrighty, folks. That was Andrew Payne in the 93 machine, finishing in the third position. Now we'll head up to our runner up finisher, that being the 35 machine of Hayden Swank. Hayden, do you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet in the booth here.
I got you, Brett. How's it going?
Oh man, I'm doing pretty good. How are we feeling after 50 laps at Charlotte, Hayden?
I'm just excited that I saw all 50 of them, to be honest with you. It was pretty crazy there, but I feel like the whole field did a pretty good job of holding it together, and we had a pretty exciting finish there. So,
Yeah, that you guys did. And I mean, yeah, we saw many of times some cars get way out of control, save the race cars, a couple big ones. But at the end, Hayden, you're right there, even with some damage on your car.
yeah, the damage was actually pretty interesting there. It was kind of making me overheat and parachute, so I didn't want to spend too much time leading a line or push too hard. So I was kind of stalled out there in ninth for the most of that second run there. But once it was that green white checker, all bets were off. If we blow up, we blow up.
Yeah, and speaking about that green white checkered, I mean, you got to, I think, restart on the outside row, got a great start, able to duck down for sure by the inside by turn number one. Then you see Riley Duncan wash on up, and at the start finish line, I saw you say, you know what, we're going up to the top, we're going to try and win this thing, and I'm sure that's what you thought.
Yeah, just coming to the line there the entire time. It was just a matter of like I was just thinking to myself, how do I get to the front of one of these lines? Luckily, I was able to jump down to the inside, and then I think I pushed him a little too hard, and that kind of got him loose, moved him up the track. But yeah, at that point we weren't lifting, but yeah, I was able to get to the front of the line and go for the win.
Yeah, and oh, so close. Maybe if some more contact happened between the inside cars, you might have had a closer shot, but still inches off of each other. I mean, not much, I think, better you could have done there through that last set of corners.
Yeah, I mean, I think it just was what it was. Did everything we could to win to that race. Hats off to Steven. He did an incredible job to hold on to the lead that entire deal there. Just came up, I think, 100th of a second short, and yeah, still a great way to start the season off.
Yeah, that it is because you qualified really well here. Hayden had to start deep in the field all the way, I think, in 11th here. So how it seemed like it was very difficult here and kind of like old school, or maybe let's say maybe new school super speedway racing, where it's just all about momentum and choosing the right lanes.
Oh yeah, for sure. I would say there was like a tire saving component to it as well. The outside seemed to wear out the right front, so I definitely didn't want to spend too much time there. I kind of made an aggressive move around 12 or 13 to get back down to the bottom. But other than that, yeah, it was really a chess match out there to pick the right lanes at the right times and hope it played out in your favor.
Yeah, and so far it did. And Hayden, finally starting off a season on the right foot here, a runner-up finish. And last time, even last season, especially in these street stocks, we saw you go on a run of some great finishes right in a row. Is that the plan for this season? And what's the outlook after a great start at a kind of a wild card race?
Absolutely. I think last year we started our season off with a pair of sub 20th place finishes. So, then we kind of found our stride. But this season, don't want to have to go through that slump. Just want to hit the ground running from the get go. And we got off to the right start doing that today. And I think if we can continue to execute week after week, we're going to be in a good chance, good shot to win this championship.
Yeah, I would agree with that because especially when these cars get to those bull ring ovals, you seem to find an extra gear in these street stocks.
For sure, for sure. Ironically enough, with the restarts and stuff, the chess mentality that you have out here doesn't change too much over there. So either way, just excited to kick the season off in the right way and carry that momentum into next week.
Yeah, and that it is. And 12 race season coming on up and any tracks you're really looking forward to this season? I know we make a return to quite a few short ovals again for the first time and it seems like a while.
Yeah, I'm not sure I have the schedule in front of me right now, but correct me if I'm wrong. I think we're making a return to Hickory this season. Is that correct?
Sadly no Hickory on the schedule, but we return to, South Boston, USA, Lucas Oil, even Myrtle Beach.
Yeah, you can keep USA, but the other three, I'm excited about.
Yeah, USA definitely its own unique beast in that sort of way. But yeah, Hayden, awesome job. Awesome way to kick off the season here with a oh so close runner up finish. But like I said and you said, a great way to start the season. So before we let you go, Hayden, I'm gonna go hand over the mic to you and have you thank who you gotta thank, whether teammates, people you want to shout out maybe on the broadcast or some sponsors or people that let you do this and run as well as you do.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Well, huge shout out to the ASRC as always. Always enjoy racing here, and I think the season is going to be no different. Also, huge shout out to Postma Flooring for supporting this league as a whole. Really excited to have them continue on with us, and yeah, cannot wait for next week and to keep the momentum rolling. It's going to be a good season.
Yeah, and if you did anything like last season, Hayden, I'm sure we'll be talking to you again and maybe here in the next time, even. So, Hayden, have yourself a great rest of the night and go celebrate this runner up finish. Nice job here.
I appreciate it. Have a good one, Brett.
Alrighty. Thank you very much, Hayden. That was our second place finisher, Hayden Swank. And now we'll head to the man of the hour. It is the 66 of Stephen Roachford. Stephen, do you got a copy?
Hey, Brett, I got you.
Alrighty, my man. How was this race? You put on a clinic to lead that bottom line. It seemed like from lap like 2 or so, from the outside, you got down to the bottom and you never left that. Was that the game plan?
Yeah, once I saw that I was going to be on the outside after qualifying, the plan went from just kind of ride around, miss the wrecks to let's get out front and get to the bottom. Luckily, they got together a little bit and caused some trouble and let me get down there. And from then on, it was just painting that blue line all the way around. If somebody was going to go below me, they were going to go below that line. So um, that was the plan. Just survive, get to lap 50, and then I just had to expect uh, it to get rough and just try to drive right through it.
Yeah, luckily all the big incidents, happening behind you, so you had clean track and I want to say, you and JJ McCrae did an awesome job leading those lanes and kind of controlling this race, right? Racing close to each other but never making contact.
Yeah, absolutely. Just trying to like you said, you got to race close, but you don't want to create contact because then you're gonna take yourself out of the race, right? So just trying to give him plenty of room. I felt like he was doing the same. Both of our pushers were doing great. I wouldn't have been there if Tim Rogers wasn't behind me that whole time. Hate to see him get turned around late, but yeah, it was a good race. Worked out for us for sure. Just patience was key, and just had to make sure that they didn't get a good run off two every single time, and they kept locking with my bumper to shove me into three, and yeah, seemed to work out pretty good.
Yeah, that it did, able to pick up the checkered flag here, Steven. And of course, things have to end in a green white checkered. What's going through your mind and what's the game plan there? Because anyone behind you is probably going to try and take a run if they get it.
Absolutely, yeah. I felt like with the 48 behind me there, I felt pretty comfortable that he was gonna stick with me and not make any crazy moves. He had a couple of chances to head up to the outside, and he didn't. So I felt like he was gonna stick with me, and then with that last caution and him not being there, I was a little bit nervous to see someone new behind me and try to figure out, well, are they going to try to dive down on me or what's the deal here? But um, yeah, luckily Andrew got behind me there on that last lap, and I knew that he was going to push me right through the corner. There wasn't going to be any lifting, so I tried to just kind of hold a straight wheel. Got a little bit loose off of four there, and just tried to hold a lane. Once the car straightened out, I just held that lane. I didn't know where he went. He was off in the grass somewhere, but um, yeah, I managed to just squeak it out, and yeah, it's a crazy race, a lot of fun.
Yeah, that it was to end things with a photo finish. Andrew Payne, of course, coming back, getting shot down into the grass, coming on back. And that seemed like a pretty big hit as well as, that was a heck of a save by you off of four. One, you had to be quick with the save to not loop the car ultimately, but then two, keep that momentum because if you don't, Hayden Swain could drive by and steal that win from you.
Oh, absolutely. The outside lane was just rolling if you got too loose. So I knew that he was going to have a run up there too. So like I said, once the car got straight, I just wanted to straighten it out to get the finish line as quick as possible. Then Andrew kind of came up, gave me a bump, ended up into Hayden, and well, the rest is history at that point.
Yeah, that it is. Another great finish, another close finish for you, and another finish kind of on a quote unquote street stock super speedway because, Steven, this is win number 2 for your career here at ASRC, but your last win came at Nashville Super Speedway. So, kind of another drafting strategy race. What kind of clicks for you here, and what what makes you maybe the person that people have to really watch out for when it comes to these big tracks in a street stock?
Oh, I'm just quiet and patient as much as I can be. I try not to make a lot of dumb moves. I try not to piss a lot of people off. It's it's definitely not easy, and there's a lot of luck involved as well. But like you said, we keep making it happen, so I'll keep taking them as they come.
Yeah, and awesome stuff here, and a great way to start the season. I mean, now 11 races left, but already picking up a win here, leading the points. What's the game plan now for the rest of the season, knowing that the big wild card race out of the way here early and picking up the win at that?
Hey, it really depends who shows up. I was surprised not to see the 44 here chasing him around like I usually am, but there's still a lot of really good guys in here, a lot of guys that are more than capable of winning a championship for sure. So if we can make it every week and try to contend for that, then that's definitely our plan, and this is a good step in that direction.
Yeah, that it is. Can't ask for a better way to start things. And yeah, just to let you know, Steven, and whoever's watching at home as well, Zach Nichols in the 44 machine not going to be running this season. So doors wide open. But like you said, you yourself and a lot of other fast cars here still left in the series.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, and Steven, I always enjoyed, racing around you. I never really got a chance to talk with you, being a fellow competitor for all those seasons. But, it seems like you said, you're really quiet but consistent. And it seems like, especially late in races, you're all of a sudden up in the battle, in the thick of it.
Yeah, you got to be there at the end to be there to win. So I just try to take what I can get, and at the end, burn off what's left and see where the cards fall.
Yeah, and that you did an awesome job here tonight picking up career win number 2. So, Steven, before we let you go and celebrate down in victory lane for race number 1, I'm going to go hand over the mic to you and have you get to thank whoever you'd like, whether that be in teammates, sponsors on the car, or people that let you do this, or maybe some people tuning on into the broadcast you want to give a shout out to as well.
Yeah. I'd just like to thank the ASRC, the whole crew, from admins to drivers. It's fun to race with these guys, and Tanner putting it on for sure. Like it's no joke to try to put these leagues together, and it takes a lot of effort. And after a long day of working on race cars or whatever, to put something like this together, everybody can have fun, kind of relax, is really nice. I got to thank just my teammates, uh, my dad in the 77, Scott. Ty had a bad night tonight, but he'll regroup and get it done another night, I'm sure. Got to thank you guys for broadcasting Turn 3. Doesn't get much better than this. You guys always do a great job. Yeah, appreciate it.
All righty. Well, Steven, thank you for being a part of the show for us to enjoy the racing and putting on the show that all of us get to enjoy. So, Steven, you, my man, have yourself a great rest tonight and go celebrate this win.
Appreciate it. We will.
All righty, folks. That was our race winner, Steven Rochford, in the number 66 machine, getting the job done here at Charlotte for race number 1. Let's head on over and get running on through tonight's race results from race number 1. Steven Rochford in the 66 machine picks up career win number 2, finishing in the runner-up spot is the 35 of Hayden Swank. Rounding out the podium, finishing in third is the 93 of Andrew Payne. Finishing in P number 4 here, he had himself a great race. That is JJ McCrae in the 78. Rounding out the top 5 is the 41. That is Caleb Ramsey. And then how about this guy? Scott Rochford, the dad of Steven there in the 077, able to go from losing the draft, fighting his way back up through the field, and will finish 6th here tonight. 7th place here going to the biggest mover. That is the 88 of Chuck Darling. Finishing in 8th is the 97, and another strong run that maybe the finish doesn't quite fully show it. That is the 97 of Riley Duncan. Greggy Long in the 17 machine will finish 9th. Rounding out the top 10 will be the 7. That is Pete Dillon. Finishing in P number 11, Jeff Dillon in the 52. 12th going to Regan Ford in the 20. Jason Griffith in the 98 machine will finish 13th. And then some heartbreaks for these drivers. Tim Rogers in the 48 will finish 14th. Dev McDonald in the 18 finishing 15th. 16th going to Dave Payne in the 38. Mark Fuquay in the 6th, 17th. 18th going to Zach Coyer. Finishing then in 19th, Ty Delphia in the 013. And Nicholas DeBoer in the 900 will finish in P number 20. So thanks again for everyone tuning on in here live. Really appreciate each and every one of you spending your Wednesday nights. Appreciate all the replay viewers tuning on in here at a later time. If you enjoyed the racing you saw here tonight, be sure to tune in to Wednesday nights here on the Turn 3 Racing Network to catch the next 11 races of the American Sim Racing Club Street Stock Series. If you really enjoyed what you saw, be sure to tune into Tuesday nights as most of these drivers and some other drivers battled out with American Sim Racing Club with the late model stocks. Those, of course, being brought to you by myself here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. Always some great short track racing to be watched. Turn 3 Racing Network is partnered with that logo in the bottom right of your screen. That is Premier Setup Shops. So there is a link in the description that will take you over to Premier Setup Shops. A click would go a long way. That will let Premier that we are sending people over from us. So as they support us, we can show that we can do the same thing. So overall, I think that will do it for race number 1. An awesome way to kick off the season. A photo finish here. Exciting finishes. Close, hard racing. That's what is to be expected here at ASRC. Also with ASRC, we heard them get shout out before, but thanks again to the admin team as well as all the drivers that show up, take the time to enjoy some sim racing throughout their weeknights, as well as all the people that make things work in the background, as well as the other sponsors and partners here with the league, that being LaPlante Racing Products, Boardwalk Subs, and Postma Flooring. So that will do it here for tonight at Charlotte. Be sure to tune in to next Wednesday, where these drivers take on Five Flag Speedway for 100 laps. Going to be another barn burner race. You guys won't want to miss it. So I have been Brett the Jet in the booth from Turn 3 Racing Network. Everyone take care, stay safe, and have a great rest of your week. And we will catch you in about 1 week's time. So once again, I've been Brett the Jet in the booth, and I just flew by you. Have a good one.